Hey guys, and welcome to the channel. I'm Zemo the Dad DPS, and we are back in Dune Awakening talking about Duraluminium and Jasmium crystals. Now, Jasmium crystals are required in order to forge Duraluminium, and what you do is you combine it with aluminium, and it creates Duraluminium. Now, when it comes to Jasmium, it is in a very specific part of the map, and that would be Shoal, which is down here. And this place is covered in radiation and kind of out in the middle of nowhere. So we're going to talk about the best method for you to get that jasmium crystals and in the easiest way possible. Either way guys, like, comment, subscribe, let's get on with it. Now obviously, once you've got your radiation suit, once you've got your iodine piles, you're also going to need the buggy. And again, as I've said in previous videos, my buggy has the MK6 cutter ray and the bigger buggy boot, giving it 3,500 storage capacity. Obviously, the better buggy you can have, the better you will be, but you definitely need a buggy. I see a lot of people flying over with ornithopters, and it's just not efficient in my opinion. But get a buggy, get a good buggy. Now this next part depends on where you are on the map. As you can see, my home base is in Mesa Tiril. Now I have two paths open to me. What I can do is I can drive down all this way and then drive all the way into Shoal and then make a run through here and all these different areas. And then there's also this path here. I can also come from here or here. So it really just depends on what tickles my fancy. But essentially, my normal path is I come down this way, go round here, go round, and then I come out this way and come back round to my base. And we'll show you the path, and I'll have a couple little thoughts and comments to share in regards to that. Now, Duraluminium, as I said before, is possibly one of the most important resources that you're going to have in the game. There is plastinium, which you can get from the deep desert, but when it comes to general use and general solo play, I think Duraluminium's a lot more usable and useful. It's also like things like the Taro cutlery, which we have a video on, is made with Duraluminium. So there isn't necessarily a need to have plastinium items as much as other things, and it's best to save those resources for more useful things that you can use plastinium for example base construction and different doodads around your base, like your mining refiner and your spice refiner and your better absorption related things with like the wind traps and whatnot. There's a lot of different things, but Duraluminium is still vital, because unless you are constantly running around with plastinium products, then you need something and a good resource. And yeah, this is one of the ones that I would recommend, and it's relatively easy to get. I've seen a lot of people again using ornithopters to fly over to Shoal, but you don't need to. You really don't need to, and I find this a lot more efficient. Some friends of mine that are on the same server as me were using their ornithopters to do it, and I'm going to be honest, they just ended up getting a third of the amount with twice the effort, and they just didn't get where they needed to go as quickly. Now this bugger is cut me off because he was right there when we drove in, so that is the problem. But we will speed up this video, and then I'll have little snippets of conversation at different points during this. So I'm going to stop talking now. Now, something I would say about this point is this is the furthest point where the radiation is not quite here yet. So we're going to pop our iodine capsules, and we aren't going to show the full like farming route. What I would say about this is you don't really need a route. You just need to understand certain things, and we'll cross that when we get to it. Now, as you drive around Shoal, there are two major island types that are relevant towards your farming of the Jasmium. And the first one is one of these islands. Now, this island quite typically has a cave on it, and it has several nodes of Jasmium in these little toxic craters. Now, do not step inside the goo. It is deadly. It increases your radiation quicker. Not worth doing, but you can blast the Jasmine from the safety of your car. Now, you could go into the cave. There is a load of Jasmine down there, but the problem is you can't take your car down there. So it isn't efficient to bother. I would recommend heavily just going about on your buggy and blasting the Jasmine that way. There are probably more nodes on this island, but they are just really awkward to get to with a buggy, so I don't bother with it. The second type of islands, however, you can see directly ahead. Now, these ones are like an exploded crater. You can see the rock formations kind of coming out from the epicenter of it. And in here is usually where you've got anywhere between 3 to, in some instances, 5 of these nodes. Now, sometimes there's enemies here, so do feel free to murder them. But yeah, there's lots of different of these nodes around. And essentially, all you do is you go around and you farm these nodes up as you go, and this is going to get you a load of Jasmine, and it fills up your storage pretty quickly. I'm going to be honest, I think I get around 7,000 even in the buggy as it is, and I've got the big, well, the biggest buggy boot that you can currently have. So yeah, like, you aren't getting like an absolute truckload of this stuff, but it does work out. It is really good. And as I said, there's another one of the islands with the kind of formation and a cave in there, and you can just drive through them, gather your nodes, and go from there. And here you can see one of the rock formations that's like a really big crater, and there is about 6 of these nodes here. So some of them are full of absolute loads, and you're seeing I miscalculated. I think that was from my previous buggy boot. I'm getting about 9,000 of the Jasmine ore from here, and the reason I'm not showing like the full route down here is the basis that I kinda skip and hop between different rocks depending on where I'm going and what I'm doing. So it doesn't really matter what route you take, as long as you're getting back with the rocks. And yeah, it's at a point where I need to get out of here because I'm too thirsty. I need to find some more. But yeah, like, it's so quick. It's so quick. You're seeing at the bottom right of the screen, there's that little green nuclear symbol and the amount of radiation I've got. That is the 10-minute timer on the pills, the iodine pills. So it's taken me less than 10 minutes to get through and do all of this. And that's how easy this is to do. It's how simple it is, and then you're going to have a lot of Duraluminium from this. So I would heavily recommend that you go and do this method. Either way, if you've enjoyed today's video and this has given you some information, don't forget to leave a like, a comment, and subscribe. And we'll catch you all next time on Arrakis.
Rise the sand, concealed its rage. Tales of old from ancient